I was handcuffed on my own front porch, staring at the flashing red and blue lights while the kid across the street smirked, holding my brand new iPhone like it was his trophy. His mother screamed at the officers that I'd attacked her son, and all I could think was how the hell did I go from unboxing my package to being treated like a criminal in less than 5 minutes? My name's Marcus. I'm 32. I design websites for a living, and until that afternoon I thought moving into Willow Creek Estates was one of the best decisions I'd ever made. Quiet streets, manicured lawns, families walking their dogs. It all seemed fine. Sure, the HOA had its quirks rules about lawn heights and mailbox colors, but nothing that screamed danger. I paid my dues, kept to myself, waved politely at neighbors. That was it. Then came the package. I'd been saving for months to upgrade to the newest iPhone. It wasn't just a toy, it was my camera, my work tool, my everything. I tracked the shipment obsessively, and when the alert pinged delivered, I practically ran to the porch. That's when I saw him. Kevin, the teenage son of the new HOA president, standing there with my box in his hands. I froze for a second, thinking maybe it was some mix-up. But no, he glanced at me, tucked the box tighter under his arm, and started walking off like it belonged to him. I called out, "Hey, that's mine. Put it back." He didn't even flinch. He just muttered something about, "My mom ordered this for me." I took a step forward. "Kid, I literally saw you pick it up from my porch. Drop it now." And that's when she stormed out. Karen Whitfield. Blonde bob, designer yoga pants, HOA badge of self-importance practically glowing. She shrieked, "Don't you dare! Lay a hand on my son, you thug!" Then she whipped out her phone, stabbing at 911. The scene was surreal. Me standing in front of my own house, the actual owner of the package, and suddenly I was the villain. Neighbors peeked through blinds, some even filming. Karen went full Broadway. "He threatened my baby. He tried to steal from us." Her voice cracked like she'd rehearsed it, and Kevin. Oh, Kevin just smirked, clutching my phone box like it was a prize he'd won. Minutes later, the squad car pulled up. 4 officers climbed out, all white eyes already narrowed on me. Karen ran toward them, sobbing on cue, pointing at me like she'd spotted a murderer. I tried to explain calmly at first. "Officers, I live here. That's my package. There's a delivery confirmation in my email." But before I could finish, one of them barked, "Hands where we can see them. Turn around." I laughed, thinking it was some mistake. Wait, seriously. Check my ID. Check the damn address on the box. That only made them tense up more. One officer's hand went to his holster, and suddenly I wasn't laughing. My hands went up, my heart pounding. In front of my neighbors, in front of my own house, I was spun around cold metal locked around my wrists. Karen gasped theatrically, "Thank you, officers, thank you." "He's dangerous." Kevin grinned wider. And me, I felt smaller than I'd ever felt in my life. At the station, they tossed me in a holding cell. Concrete walls, buzzing lights, the smell of disinfectant and despair. I sat there, replaying the scene over and over. Was I too aggressive? Should I have just let the kid walk off? Maybe if I'd smiled more, or said less, maybe this is my fault. That's the poison of moments like that. You start to believe the lies about yourself. Hours dragged. My phone cracked from when Karen yanked it was in evidence. My wrists ached from the cuffs. Every so often I heard an officer chuckle in the hallway, and I wondered if it was about me. That's when the voice in my head whispered, "Maybe you should just give up. Plead guilty, take the hit. Who's going to believe you anyway?" But then I remembered something. The camera. The little doorbell cam I'd installed after a package theft months ago. It had been recording the whole time. The theft, the confrontation, even Karen screaming her lies. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't imagining this. There was proof. When they finally let me make a call, I dialed my best friend, Mike. He picked up on the first ring, and I barely got the words out before he said, "Marcus, don't worry. You've got that camera right. Send me the login." Hope flickered in my chest. For the first time all night, I felt like just maybe I had a shot. By the next morning, I had a lawyer. Not just any lawyer, Ms. Davies from a civil rights group that had seen the footage Mike uploaded. She came in sharp calm and deadly serious. She told me, "We've handled people like her before. You're not alone." The investigation unraveled fast. Kevin wasn't some innocent kid. He had a record at school, bullying fights, even a suspension for theft. Teachers described him as entitled, always bragging, "My mom can get me out of anything," and Karen. She had a history, too. Noise complaints, harassment reports, targeting neighbors of color. She'd filed bogus complaints about property lines, dogs, you name it. Willow Creek's HOA meetings were littered with her signature. And then came the bombshell, Mrs. Gable. 80 years old, lived right next door to Karen. She stepped forward, voice shaking but clear, to say she'd seen Kevin grab my package. She heard Karen scream racial slurs before the cops arrived. Her testimony combined with the video was like dynamite under their lies. Suddenly, the story wasn't violent man threatens child. It was HOA president fabricates charges to cover her son's theft. The footage went viral. Hashtags lit up. Porch Pirate Karen. Justice for Marcus. News crews camped outside the neighborhood. Karen's employer cut ties fast. Kevin's school held disciplinary hearings. But the real showdown came in court. Karen strutted in with her pearl necklace chin high like she still ran the room. She tried the waterworks, sobbing about how afraid she'd been. Kevin sat there, arms crossed, a smirk half hidden. And then Ms. Davies hit play on the video. The silence was deafening. On screen, everyone watched Kevin stroll onto my porch, snatch the box, and Karen rush in with her shrieking lies. Her tone, her words, the venom, they were all there, undeniable. The jury shifted uncomfortably. Even the judge's face tightened. Karen exploded. She jumped up, shouting about how the footage was edited, fake, deep-faked by thugs. The judge slammed the gavel so hard I thought it would crack. Her mask had slipped and everyone saw her for what she was. The verdict came swift. Charges against me dropped. Karen, guilty of filing false reports, slapped with a massive fine, ordered into mandatory racial bias training. Kevin, convicted of petty theft, sentenced to community service. And the officers who cuffed me without a question, Internal Affairs opened a file. 2 of them were suspended. The night Karen's family packed up their house, I stood at my window and watched. No neighbors came out to wave goodbye. No one helped them load the truck. They left in silence under cover of darkness, the same way they'd tried to bury me in shame. I didn't celebrate. There was no victory party, no champagne. Just me standing there with my reclaimed phone staring at the empty house across the street. Because here's the thing. Winning doesn't erase the scar of being treated like less than human. Justice doesn't wipe away the memory of cold steel on your wrists or the laughter of a spoiled kid who thought he could get away with it. But it does remind you of one thing. The truth, no matter how buried, has a way of clawing its way to the surface. And that's the lesson: never let their lies become your truth.